Most people wait to feel ready. They fail because readiness never arrives. Readiness is not a feeling that visits you at the door of your morning. It is a decision you make before the door opens. And while you wait for it, the hours of your life leak out quietly, one after another, into a river you will never fish from again. You wake. You reach for the phone. You promise yourself that today will be different. And then, somewhere between the second cup of coffee and the third scroll, the day slips away from you like sand through open fingers. This is not laziness. This is not weakness. This is the oldest illness of the human spirit, the belief that action must be preceded by inspiration. And so you sit, you wait, you research, you plan. You reorganize the desk, you wait for the mood, you wait for the sign. You wait for the perfect moment that never comes. Because the perfect moment is a myth invented by fear to keep you exactly where you are. Count the cost. A year of waiting is 365 mornings surrendered. 10 years of waiting is a life half-lived. And the tragedy is not the failure, it is the forgetting. You forget who you were supposed to become. You forget the version of yourself you glimpsed at 17, at 22, at 30. You forget the fire. But today, in the next few minutes, something must shift inside you. Because I am going to tell you the truth that motivational speakers whisper and never shout. Motivation is not the cause of action. It is the reward for it. Say that again in your own mind. Motivation does not create movement. Movement creates motivation. And that single reversal quiet, almost invisible, is the hinge upon which every extraordinary life has ever swung. So listen closely. You are not here by accident. You are here because some part of you already knows the man or the woman you are supposed to become is waiting on the other side of the action you keep postponing. And the only bridge between here and there is built 1 4-step at a time. Now, here is the truth. The first principle is simple, and it will offend the part of you that loves comfort. Move first, feel second. Most people believe the sequence is inspiration, then action. They are wrong. The sequence is action, then inspiration. The body leads the mind, the foot leads the feeling, the pen leads the muse. Consider Thomas Edison. He did not wake each morning trembling with genius. He walked into the laboratory, he sat down, he picked up the filament, he tested one, then another, then another, then 1,000 more. The legend says he failed 10,000 times before the light bulb burned. But Edison did not fail 10,000 times. He acted 10,000 times. And somewhere inside those 10,000 forced repetitions, the miracle appeared not because he waited for it, but because he refused to. So here is what you will do today. The 5-minute rule. Whatever task you have been avoiding, the email, the workout, the page, the call, you will give it 5 minutes, not 50. 5. You will not negotiate. You will not stretch. You will begin. And you will discover, as every disciplined soul before you has discovered, that the door opens the moment you knock. The second principle cuts deeper. Discipline is freedom, not the enemy of it. You have been sold a lie. The lie says discipline is a cage. The truth is that discipline is the only key that unlocks the cage you were born into. A ship without a sail drifts wherever the wind decides. A ship with a sail trimmed, tightened, obedient to the hand of a captain crosses oceans. Which one are you? Think of Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on earth. He could have indulged in every appetite the world offered. Instead, before dawn, he rose. He wrote. He questioned himself. He reminded himself that he was mortal, that the day would demand things of him, that comfort was the softest chain. And in the quiet of those pre-dawn hours, in the discipline no one else witnessed, he built the interior kingdom that outlasted his empire by 2,000 years. So audit this. Tonight, before you sleep, write down the 3 things you did today that a disciplined version of you would be proud of. And the 3 things you did that the drifting version of you chose out of fear. Do not judge, only see. Because you cannot change what you refuse to name. The third principle is one the world has forgotten. Momentum is a muscle. It is trained. It is built. It is not given. It is earned in the small, unglamorous repetitions that no one applauds. A blade is sharpened one stroke at a time. A garden is grown one seed at a time. A life is forged one forced action at a time. Henry Ford did not build the automobile industry in a burst of inspiration. He tinkered. He failed. He was mocked. His first two companies collapsed. He was told by everyone he trusted to stop. But Ford understood something the critics did not. Momentum, once earned, becomes its own gravity. He kept moving. Small step, small step, small step. And then, one morning, the world discovered it had been moved. So here's your instruction. Choose one action today. One. Not 7, not 12. One action that moves you toward the person you claim you want to become. Do it before noon, and do the same tomorrow. Do the same the day after, because a river does not carve a canyon in a single storm. It carves it by refusing to stop. The fourth principle is the one that separates the serious from the sentimental. Emotion is not evidence. You feel afraid. That is not evidence you should not act. You feel tired. That is not evidence you should not rise. You feel doubt. That is not evidence you are wrong. Feelings are weather. They pass through you. They are not you. And the moment you begin to obey every gust of feeling, you become a leaf, blown wherever the wind decides. Helen Keller was born into a silence and a darkness most of us cannot imagine. She had every reason to feel defeated. She had every emotional justification to remain small. But she understood something most of us never learn, that the life she wanted would not be handed to her by her feelings. It would be built by her decisions. She learned to speak. She learned to write. She learned to teach. Not because she felt like it, because she chose to. And her feelings, over time, learned to obey her. So today, name 3 feelings you have been letting run your life. Fear, comfort, resentment, whichever they are. Name them, write them down. And then, beside each one, write the action you will take despite it. Because the moment you act despite a feeling, you take the throne back from it. Now, here is the truth. The 5th principle is the one you least want to hear. You are not tired. You are uncommitted. Read that slowly. Because the exhaustion you feel is not physical, it is spiritual. It is the exhaustion of a soul that has not chosen. When a man knows what he is for, he can work 18 hours and rise the next morning. When a man does not know what he is for, 4 hours will crush him. Andrew Carnegie understood this. He came to America with nothing. He worked in a factory. He worked in a telegraph office. He worked in the railroads. And he did not feel tired because he had committed. He had chosen a direction, and every ounce of his energy flowed toward it like iron pulled to a magnet. Commitment is not a burden. Commitment is fuel. And the man who is not committed is the man who is always exhausted because his energy leaks in every direction at once. So claim this today. Speak it out loud. I am committing to one thing for the next 30 days. Choose it now. And when the fatigue comes, and it will come, remember that it is not your body speaking. It is your uncommitted self begging for permission to quit. The 6th principle is the one that quietly transforms every other. Environment shapes action. You are not disciplined enough to overcome your environment forever. No one is. If your phone lives on your desk, you will scroll. If the refrigerator is full of poison, you will eat it. If the friends around you speak only of complaint, you will complain. A garden grows what the soil allows, and your environment is your soil. Walt Disney understood this. When he built his first studio, he did not surround himself with skeptics. He surrounded himself with dreamers. He built rooms where imagination was the currency. And when he failed, and he failed catastrophically, went bankrupt, was told he lacked imagination, he did not change his ambition. He changed his environment. He moved. He rebuilt. He put himself in rooms where the air itself agreed with his vision. So audit your environment today. The room you sleep in, the phone you carry, the 5 voices you hear most. Ask yourself, Honestly, is this soil growing the man or the woman I intend to become? And if the answer is no, begin, brick by brick, to change it. Because willpower is finite. Environment is architecture. The seventh principle is the one that closes the circle. You will not always want to. Do it anyway. There will be mornings when the bed holds you like a lover. There will be nights when the work seems pointless. There will be weeks when nothing moves, and the doubt whispers that you are a fool. This is not a sign to stop. This is the price of the thing you say you want. The Wright brothers were mocked. For years, two bicycle mechanics from Ohio claiming they would teach men to fly. The newspapers laughed. The scientists dismissed them. Their own funding evaporated. And on the morning of December 17th, 1903, in the cold wind of Kitty Hawk, they did not feel like heroes. They felt cold. They felt uncertain. They did it anyway. And 12 seconds later, the sky belonged to humanity. So here is your final instruction for the doing. The moment you feel the pull to stop, pause for 10 seconds, count them, and then take one more action. Just one. Because the champions and the quitters are not divided by talent. They are divided by what they do in the 10 seconds after the wanting to stop. Now listen closely, because this is the thing beneath the thing. Behind every one of these principles lies one inner force. And it is not motivation. It is not willpower. It is not even discipline, though discipline is its shadow. What all of these rules share is not effort. It is identity. It is the quiet, unshakable decision about who you are. Because a man who has decided he is a writer writes when he does not feel like writing. A woman who has decided she is an athlete trains when her body begs her to rest. A soul who has decided it is unstoppable does not stop, because stopping would violate the self it has claimed. Action is not something you perform. Action is something you become. And the moment you shift from doing to being, the whole architecture of your life reorganizes around the new identity, the way iron filings arrange themselves around a magnet. So let me speak to you now not as a coach, but as someone who has watched too many good souls waste too many good years. Comparison is a thief that robs you of joy and clouds your mind. You spend hours measuring yourself against people whose beginnings you never saw, whose battles you cannot know, whose scars are hidden beneath the polish of a screen. Stop. That road leads only downward. Validation begins within. If you cannot say to yourself, in the quiet of your own room, I am proud of what I did today, no applause from the outer world will ever fill the hollow. The applause will come in time, but it will feel empty if you have not first learned to applaud yourself for the small, invisible victories. You are the center of your universe. Never forget it. Not in arrogance, in responsibility. Because if you are not the center, someone else will be the algorithm, the boss, the critic, the ghost of an old wound. And a life lived at the edge of your own universe is not a life, it is a rehearsal. You must reclaim the throne of your own mind. That throne has been rented out to too many landlords, the news, the noise, the endless opinions of strangers. Take it back, sit down on it, and rule. Because before the world believes in you, you must believe in yourself. This is not a slogan, it is a law. The world is a mirror. It reflects the certainty you bring to it. If you enter the room already apologizing for your existence, the room will accept the apology. If you enter as a king, as a queen, as a soul who has chosen, the room will rearrange itself around your presence. Motivation does not create movement. Movement creates motivation. An identity chosen, claimed, defended, creates the movement that creates everything else. So hear me now. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Start doing. Decide who you will be today before the day tells you who to be. Because the day will try, the notifications will try, the doubts will try, the old small version of you will try. Rise before them. Choose before them. Move before them. A year from now, you will look back at this exact moment, this ordinary evening, this ordinary morning, this ordinary hour when you almost scrolled past, and you will understand that this was the hinge. This was the pivot. This was the moment the drifting stopped and the becoming began. You will see a self you barely recognize, standing in a life you barely dared to imagine, and you will whisper quietly, almost in disbelief, that it all began the day you stopped waiting to feel ready. Movement first, feeling second. Your time is now. Motivation is not the cause of action. It is the reward for it. Move first, feel second. Everything else follows. Readiness is not a feeling. It is a decision. The perfect moment is a myth invented by fear. You are not tired. You are uncommitted. Action is not something you perform. Action is something you become. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the key to it. A river does not carve a canyon in a single storm. Emotion is not evidence. It is weather passing through. The champions and the quitters are divided by 10 seconds. Momentum is a muscle. Train it or lose it. Feelings are weather. They pass through you. They are not you. Willpower is finite. Environment is architecture. Commitment is not a burden. Commitment is fuel. The man who has not chosen is the man who is always exhausted. You will not always want to. Do it anyway. Comparison is a thief that robs you of joy. Validation begins within, or it never begins at all. You are the center of your universe. Never forget it. Reclaim the throne of your own mind. Before the world believes in you, you must believe in yourself. The world is a mirror. It reflects the certainty you bring to it. A ship without a sail drifts wherever the wind decides. A garden grows only what the soil allows. The door opens the moment you knock. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Start doing. Decide who you will be before the day tells you who to be. Small step, small step, small step. That is how empires rise. You cannot change what you refuse to name. The bed will hold you like a lover. Rise anyway. Rent out your throne, and strangers will rule your mind. Every forced action is a brick in the temple of your becoming. The sequence is not inspiration then action. It is action then inspiration. A leaf blown by every feeling is not a life. It is a rehearsal. Your future is built in the 10 seconds after you want to quit.